So I got to get a few things off my chest before I start talking about Novell. So first of all, are there many 49er fans here? Yeah? How many thought we got hosed last night? Did we get hosed? Oh yeah, we got hosed. That's how that works. I got to tell you that. Now, do you think the morning patch on the jersey is too much today? I'm feeling it. It's the first time we've ever lost. I do need to make a comment and clear up something that came up last night. Last night, you know, the lights went out in the stadium, and just prior to that, I had made a phone call. I was in the back of the room making a phone call. Some people saw that, and then coincidentally, the lights went out right after I hung up the phone in the stadium. And I just want you to know that. Oh, this is my friend Jay Gardner out here. Get out of here, Gardner. So those lights had nothing to do with those lights, and I just want you to know that that was all strictly a coincidence last night. But it was fun, depressing. I had some ups and downs last night. I had many people come up to me last night, I think really looking out for my goodwill. There were a lot of people, you okay, how you doing? We had a couple people show up with first aid kits, just making sure everything was okay. But it was a fun night, and my diehard 49ers, I'll go back and mourn with them after a couple of days. But you know, it's interesting, there's an interesting segue associated with this. You know, what makes a champion, there's many attributes that makes a champion, and one of them is the ability to come back from adversity, to come back from big challenges. And in a year from now, it'd be interesting to talk to many of you and see what happened to the 49ers in terms of their ability to come back after a big loss like that and how they're able to handle that. And I would also tell you that as I transition here a little bit, that's the same thing for us at Novell. We have faced a lot of adversity when we started back into this almost 21 months ago, a lot of challenges associated with it. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, you know, what we've done in that front and then what we're doing going forward. It's been about 16 months since we were together the last time at the last BrainShare, and as I mentioned, just over 20 months since the attachment group and Novell came together. And a lot of things have happened over that period of time, and I want to spend some time talking to you about, you know, what changes have occurred. I'm going to just spend a little bit of time on that, you know, where we sit today, and then I want to spend, you know, probably half the time talking to you about where we're going, because I think we're at a critical stage with regards to the future of the Novell business unit. It's important, particularly for this audience, to understand what we're up against. But let me just talk a little bit about where we've been and some of the accomplishments we've been able to achieve over the past 16 to 20 plus months. Many of you, if not all of you, will remember this particular picture. There were many pictures that looked like this in our Refocus campaign back in 2011. So when we were together the last time, I talked to you about our initial strategy coming out of the merger, that in fact we wanted to focus in on our current customer base. That set of customers and partners who we had not seen for a long, long time needed to be retouched. We needed to re-engage and certainly begin reestablishing the relationships with those customers. And so our Refocus campaign really launched us as the opening phase to the new Novell, to the transition of Novell, and really that's where we started that whole transition. But there's been a few other accomplishments along the way, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a snippet, just a little bit of a Cliff Notes version of those accomplishments, just to give you a feel of what's gone on in addition to the re-campaign. From a relationship standpoint, you'll remember it was October 2011 when I talked to you the last time, and I had mentioned at that time we were going to be rebuilding our sales organization to make sure that we could get back out into the marketplace and reconnect with our customers and with our partners. And as you can see here, we doubled that sales organization, and actually about a month after I saw you in November, we were able to deploy that entire sales organization back out into the marketplace, which we were thrilled about. Obviously have refined that over these past several months and spending as much time as we possibly can with our customers and partners. In addition to that, in terms of our reach and really trying to reconnect on a global basis, we went out and we visited 72 different cities around the globe in an effort to bring our partners and our customers together, talk about what we're doing, where we've been, what our plans were, technological items such as roadmaps, things like that. Very successful with all of that, and all in an effort really to get back out there, not only get brand awareness, but certainly be able to reconnect with all of the people associated with Novell. In addition to that, from a technology standpoint, since we spoke the last time, we've put out 86 product releases. Now, one of the things that, again, I had mentioned to you 16 months ago was one of the things that we needed to do was we needed to get our technology into the marketplace, enhance that technology in terms of features, functions, and quality, turn that around and get that back into the marketplace as quickly as we possibly could to make up for lost ground that had occurred really over the years prior to Novell and the Attachmate Group coming together. That 86 product releases is a good indication of what we're about, what we're continuing to try and do, continuing to get better in that particular area. I will also mention that, as you can see up here, that we have, over the last 16 months, have shifted about 30% of our engineering resources and have dedicated them to innovation, to new technologies. Now, that is a number that, in fact, will grow a little bit over time. I think it's important that I mention, you'll hear this from me on several occasions this morning, that for those products that we have out in the marketplace today, Open Enterprise Server, GroupWise, ZenWorks, those products we continue to develop and continue to move forward. So if you've got those technologies installed today, not only are they safe, but those are premium technologies that we're going to continue to bring forward. But in addition to that, we knew that, in fact, we needed to begin the process of innovation, be able to start beginning the process of bringing new technologies and solutions into the marketplace. And you can see that in terms of the shift of some of our engineering resources over into that particular area. Obviously, some of the benefits of that you're reaping while you're here in terms of filer, in terms of print, some of the things we're doing with ZenWorks Mobile Management, as well as some other technologies that you're going to hear about here. And you will continue to see that accelerate as we move forward. So very pleased, again, with what we've been able to accomplish on the technology side. One of the big areas I heard from you as I was here at the last BrainShare, and certainly as I've made just a bunch of customer calls and partner calls over the past 16 months, is this plea where you said to us, help us help you in terms of raising awareness of the brand, reestablishing the communications around the brand, what we were doing, talking to people in your organizations, making sure that people knew we were back, we were out there, we were reinventing ourselves, and we've made a lot of efforts in that regard. You can see some of that's coming out in some press activities that we've been doing, just a lot of different work that we've been doing in the awareness side of the business. And as I mentioned, I'm very pleased with regards to all that we've been able to accomplish over these last 16, 21 months as a business unit. But we still have a long ways to go. And I will tell you that as we talk about this within the organization itself, it's the old adage, this is a journey and not a destination. We continue to focus on product quality. We continue to focus on the deliverables that we put out there. We continue to focus on our relationships with our customers, being easy to do business, and enlisting as much as we possibly can to input that we're getting from our customer constituency as well as our partners, which we value. So I want to take a second here and just say thank you to our customers. I never want to miss an opportunity to say thank you for doing business with us. We appreciate that. We want to continue to earn your business and your loyalty, and we're going to continue to work hard at that. I also want to thank the partners that are in the room here. We really view you as an extension of our organization overall, obviously becoming more and more critical to our success going forward. We look forward to enhancing our relationships with you as we develop the business and the business unit overall. So again, very pleased with where we've been, pleased with the progress that we've made, but we also knew that when we started on this, really even 21 months ago after the merger, that we were going to need to move into a second phase in terms of our strategy. So if the first phase was really focused around securing our base, making sure we were reconnecting with our customers and our partners, the next phase had to really focus on that area of bringing new technology into the market and really providing tangible evidence in terms of our re-engineering of the business overall and the recreation of the brand overall. So really about, I would say, 10 to 12 months ago, we kicked off a subgroup within the organization to focus on the strategy going forward and what that strategy was going to look like, how we were going to implement strategy going forward, how we were going to make decisions. And anybody that's been through any kind of strategic development in a large organization knows that the first thing that you need to be able to do is you need to be able to build a framework or some strategic imperatives by which you're going to make decisions going forward. What's going to guide you as you're making decisions going forward in terms of technology, what your coverage strategy is, all aspects of the business. And so I want to share that with you here and just take you through really what we're using in terms of our strategic framework. So I would really boil it down to these five areas. I will tell you that there's a little bit of a longer list that we call our strategic imperatives. I'm not taking you through all of that here, but I would summarize it here. The first item is, in fact, that we will continue to support our customer install base. So group-wise customers, Open Enterprise Server customers, ZenWorks customers, and the sub-products underneath those umbrellas, we're going to continue to develop and produce and move those products forward. They're going to adapt, they're going to change a little bit over time, and you're seeing some of that today, but be assured that, in fact, it is critical for us to be able to continue to support you as our customer base and support those investments that you've made with us. Next, we have got to be able to get out and seek out new customers and new relationships. Up until this point, we have not said to our field organization, nor have we incented our field organization to spend any time seeking out new customers. So we have spent the better part of this last 20 some odd months really focused on you, our existing customers, and our existing partners. But come April the 1st, when we start our new fiscal year, we're changing that model in terms of what we're doing, in terms of our coverage model, in terms of our field organization, in terms of the incentives that we lay on that organization, not only to make sure that they continue to nurture the current install base, but to also be able to go out and seek out new opportunities out there. And the only way you can do that from our standpoint is that you have to be able to bring new technologies into the market. And many of those technologies that you're seeing that we're leading with, again, through Filer, print, our mobility story is what we're using to be able to expand that customer base as we move throughout the next 12 to 18 months. The third item we've got on here speaks directly to the scope of our innovation. As I went around and talked to customers, and as we had a lot of input from a lot of different people along the way, one of the recurring themes that we got in terms of input was to make sure that we leveraged our core competencies. And by that, particularly in terms of technology, was the message that, in fact, the Novell brand carries a strong legacy with it in terms of things like networking and files and print and collaboration and in endpoint management. And so we were encouraged to stay within that area of the IT operational infrastructure and build on top of that. That would help us recreate the brand, would allow us to leverage what we do best, and there was plenty of room to continue to evolve on top of that, and mobility is a perfect example of that, which I will talk about here in just a second. So stay with what you do well, continue to build on that, and that's exactly what we are doing from a strategic standpoint. The next item, the fourth item on here is this story around leveraging, having our customers be able to continue to leverage the investments you've already made in your IT infrastructures. So what does that mean? That means from our standpoint, we will not be parochial in terms of the technologies that we build and force you to make a decision on that and have to pull out other technologies that you've got installed in your organization. We want to be, we use words like heterogeneic and agnostic in terms of what's installed in those environments, in your environments. So whether you're working in an e-directory world or you're working in an Active Directory world, whether you're running Exchange or you're running GroupWise, we want our technologies to fit right inside of those environments and allow you to leverage what you've got installed, but to be able to take advantage of the innovations and the evolutions that we're making in our technology. And you're going to see that as we move forward, not only in terms of the products that we're delivering in terms of new products, but also in terms of our existing products. It allows us to play a broader role in the marketplace, provides greater flexibility for you, our customers, and allows you, again, to leverage investments that you've already made in your infrastructures. And then the last item here is that we want to capitalize on market trends. And got to be a little careful with this because there's a lot of market trends that take place in the IT world. And so when I talk about these trends, I'm really talking about these in terms of evolving trends that are impacting you from an IT infrastructure standpoint, but are of value to you. So I know for a lot of our customers and a lot of our partners, a lot of trends come and go because they really don't mean anything to you. We want to be able to capitalize on those trends that are tangible for you, and not only be able to keep up with those trends, but certainly to be in front of them. So when I look at that, these 6 categories or trends that I put up on the board are really where we play today. We play in all 6 of these categories today. Now, I will tell you, when I look at collaboration and application management that you see up here, I will share with you that, in fact, we have plans in terms of our new technology, in terms of our innovative work that we're doing in both the collaboration and application management categories. We have some pretty specific things we want to do there, but we are not in a position today to be able to share with you what those are and what our plans are specifically. We want to develop those a little bit more, and as soon as we're ready to announce what we're doing in those categories, we will share those with you, but we're not prepared to share them today. But I wanted to let you know that, in fact, those are 2 categories in particular right now that we have definitive plans on in terms of our go-forward strategy. In terms of data governance, you're going to hear a lot about data governance, the explosion of data this week from us. We just recently released an updated version of our Novell File Management Suite. I would encourage you while you're here to make sure that you go look at that technology, understand that technology, what it can do for you. This is a robust set of technologies, particularly given this whole issue with data these days that we think can really pay some dividends for you. I would encourage you to go look at that. In terms of endpoint security, you know, we're an end-to-end endpoint management company. We've got a robust set of technologies that fall into that portfolio for us. Security is a key part of that. We're continuing to develop in that area because we know there's particularly a lot of interest, high interest in terms of that particular area. But the bulk of the time we're going to spend with you this week is going to be really around our mobility story. And you're going to see a lot this week around our strategy around mobility, particularly how file and print fit in there along with our ability to manage devices. So when we look at mobility, and you'll hear this from us, we really think of that as just the new norm. It's really, mobility is now really part of the fabric of our society today. We don't look at that as a trend or anything like that or a fad. It is what it is, and that's how we're living our lives today. And with it comes a lot of excitement in terms of what the opportunities look like, particularly as you bring in this whole consumerized world into the infrastructure. But we also recognize that this collision between the consumerization of your employees and the requirements that you've got in an IT structure around security and manageability are not necessarily synchronized very well, and we think we can help in that particular area. We had a group of customers together this weekend, and we were talking about a lot of different things, and one of the common comments we were getting from these executives in these companies was this ability to be able to manage this proliferation of devices and then being able to secure and manage the data that's going out there, and how do I do that? And clearly that was keeping them awake at night, and we believe that we can help in this particular area. There's no doubt about that. So let me see if we can move forward. So our strategy around mobility has been absolutely a customer-driven process for us. So as I mentioned to you, the message was initially stay within your core competencies as you develop, as you innovate going forward. And then the next logical step associated with that was take the traditional offerings or the traditional IT operation that you have today and take it to a mobile world. And that's how that has evolved for us over the last 16 to 20 some odd months. So that's how we ended up where we are, very much customer driven in terms of the demands that you all have had on us and what some of the gaps were that you were trying to solve. So when you look at enabling mobility for files or for print in a secure, heterogeneous manner, and you provide the additional ability to be able to manage devices in that environment, we believe solves a lot of common issues that you face in an IT infrastructure world. I've had several CIOs say to me, that is right in the sweet spot for us. Those are big problems for us that we need to solve. Very anxious to see the technology that you're bringing forward. So whether it's ZenWorks mobile management, whether it's Filer, whether it's iPrint for mobile, those are tangible examples, not only in terms of the innovation side that we're looking at, our initial thrust in terms of innovation, but also in our ability to deliver on our commitments around mobility. So whether you're talking about productivity, change, mobility, those are all areas that we're trying to play a role in your organizations, trying to enhance your organizations overall. So as I close here, let me just say to you that there's really, if you remember nothing else from the days that you're here during this week, I want you to remember three things about us. The first thing is, one, we're going to continue to support and drive forward those technologies you've invested in from Novell. So make no mistake about it, that we are spending a lot of resource, a lot of time, a lot of effort on those technologies. We'll continue to move those products and technologies forward. The second thing is we are innovating. So we will continue to be bringing new solutions to you, new ideas. A lot of those ideas, by the way, as we're working through those processes, we're going to validate in the marketplace with you in terms of whether we're hitting the right spot, what other things should we be considering. But in fact, make no mistake about it, we're going to continue to innovate and bring new offerings into the marketplace. And then finally, and you've heard this from me before if you've heard me speak at any time, we recognize that in fact, the only way we can distinguish ourselves and really reestablish the Novell brand back out in the marketplace is our ability to be able to deliver. And that is to be able to deliver the technology that you need at the right time when you need it with the right content. And so we are absolutely committed to that. I will tell you, we spend a large portion of our time focused on that. When I talk about all the accomplishments we've made, some of the work that we have done behind the scenes in being able to fulfill that specific commitment has been the most significant we've done internally that you don't see, but we've looked at very heavily within the business unit. Which leads us to our next speaker. We've got the right guy here really to talk to you about the technology, what we're doing in that particular area. So let me thank you and also bring out Mr. Dave Wilkes, our Vice President of Engineering. Thanks, everybody.